בווידאו הזה אנחנו הולכים לדבר על שווי נכסים, איך אנחנו בודקים אותם, למה חשוב לנו לבדוק אותם, ואנחנו הולכים לתת לכם שתי דוגמאות למצב שהוא טוב ומצב שהוא דגל אדום, ואיך אנחנו מתמודדים עם זה. Chad, you're going to talk about property value, why it's important, and we're going to give two examples of a good thing and a bad thing, and why we should be careful of that.
Sure. So property value is a very important metric when we understand the strength of a market and if we want to invest there. One of the big components of the property value is also the median household income in that market and what's the relationship between the two. So for example, we're looking at Spring, Texas. This is a location where the median household income is roughly $69,000 and the median household property value is $147,000. Now the ratio between that two is 47%, which means I'm taking $69,000, the median household income, and dividing it into the median property value. And what we're trying to target is anywhere from 30 to 35% of the property value. So if we're finding a market that's north of 35%, that is a market that indicates to us individuals or families are buying houses. They can afford to buy property, which makes it a weak rental market. And that's an important metric to understand before we invest our time and energy to buy a property or acquire a property. Now, the other thing, go ahead.
I just want to make that remark in Hebrew because it's important. היחס הזה שצ'אד דיבר עליו, היחס בין מחירי הנכסים ובין ההכנסה, הוא מאוד מאוד חשוב. אנחנו רוצים להיות, אם אנחנו מחלקים את ההכנסה בשווי הנכסים, אנחנו רוצים להיות בטווח של בין 30 ל-35%. כל דבר שהוא גבוה מזה, מעיד על שוק של בעלי בתים, ולא על שוק של סוחרים, וזה דבר מאוד מאוד קריטי לנו, כשאנחנו קונים מולטי פמילי, כשכל המטרה שלו היא לגור בסחירות ארוכת טווח, ולכן בשווקים שהם כמו פה ספרינג טקסס, שהוא 47% יחס, זה לחלוטין דגל אדום מבחינתנו, ואנחנו רוצים כנראה להימנע מלהשקיע בשווקים כאלה. Go ahead, Chad.
Yes, so back to Spring, Texas as an example. When I first look at this ratio, that tells me right off the bat that this is a market we don't want to invest in, and I'm not going to spend any more time in looking in this market. Now, when we're looking at another market that we think that might be a good investment opportunity is Indianapolis in Indiana, and we see a ratio of 33% of household income to property value. That's a good, strong indicator to us that this is a rental market and that we should be able to find something that is a good investment asset. Now, beyond this, we also want to look at what the trend is in property value growth. So as property values continue to grow, that means people are moving there, economy is creating jobs, and it's building house value, which is a good indicator that there's growth, economic growth. And so to identify what that trend looks like is we're going to take a look at Data USA IO. We're going to punch in Indianapolis as a city, and then we're going to weed through all the data that they provide us and find the housing and living section so we can pull out that data. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll all the way down, and you can tell that there's enough of data here that you can get cross-eyed, but we're just going to continue to go down and find the household property values. As we get down here, we should find it right. Education, Nexus, housing. Here we go, property values. So you're going to see a nice big chart here that's going to give you some comparison to the United States versus city as a whole, versus Indianapolis as a whole. And we're also going to get some additional information where we can pull data into a spreadsheet and analyze that. So having the raw data is good so that you can weed out all the noise in order to look at how this particular market is performing. Down here in the left-hand corner is where it's going to give us specific information relative to this market. And I'm going to go ahead and click on this little icon here. It looks like a graph, and it should give me the one next to it. It should give me the data. So as you can tell, it pops up right in front of us, all the data associated with it in the area. So we can compare, if you like to, different markets nearby. Well, we're going to download this into a CSV file, which is essentially an Excel file. We go ahead and open this up. Then we're going to go ahead and organize this so that we isolate just under geography, Indianapolis as a whole. So let's go ahead and sort that. We're going to look for, actually, let's go ahead and just filter it for Indianapolis as a city right here. And then we're going to sort the year in ascending order. And here we are with our property values. As you can tell, property values are growing from 2013 to 2018. Now, these sites don't always have the most updated information available to us since it's the year 2021. But what it does is it gives us a guideline on the direction that that market has been performing in recent years. And it gives us confidence that this might be a market we should be looking into. And this is not the holy grail when it comes to the data that tells us what the market's doing. We need to get boots on the ground so that we understand what is happening on the market. There is eyes that you got to put on it so that we can validate these numbers in which they're telling us that that is a good market, because things can be totally different than what we see in front of us. So this is just a guideline for us to steer our lens in that market. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what we're looking for when we take a look at property values.
Can you say that there is a range that we are looking for? There is a minimum threshold and the maximum threshold of value that we're looking for. So below that, we're not going any place because people can buy houses very easily, or beyond that price range, we're not looking because it's too expensive to invest.
Sure. So if we have an example where the property values are averaging $80,000 to $90,000, and the ratio of income to property value fits in that 30 to 35% box, well, those income levels are going to be really low. And so that tells us that they may not be able to support the rents that we're looking for to increase on a value add project. So property value is an important part of what's happening in that market and how strong that market is. Obviously, the larger the values, the stronger the market might be, which means there's good economic growth and industry that supports that growth. So we're looking for nothing less than really $125,000 in property value. Anything below that, we'll raise a yellow or red flag, and we'll need to spend a little more time in the market with boots on the ground to understand what is taking place in that market. Is there any other economic drivers that are going to convince us that this data is not the decision-making tool?
And that's a very good remark, because multifamily is a business of a lot of moving parts. So there's not one indicator that is black or white. So it's always a mix and match of several conditions that needs to meet in order to verify a good investment. Thank you, Chad. חברים, כמו שהבנתם בסרטון הזה, שווי הנכסים, שימו לב ליחס בין ההכנסה לשווי הנכסים. אתם רוצים לראות נכסים בשווי של לפחות $125,000. אם הם פחות מ$125,000, זה לא אומר שזה שוק לא טוב, אלא צריך לעשות עבודה קצת יותר מעמיקה ולהבין למה השוק הזה הוא שוק טוב. תיכנסו לאתר, תתחילו לחפור, תתחילו להסתכל על השווקים המסוימים, ותרשמו לנו בתגובות מה מצאתם. שיהיה בהצלחה. ממשיכים לוידאו הבא.